Yeah, well, there was a '93. I think was the first year where they had an indoor world championships, and they've asked a bunch of people from around the world to participate. I wasn't one of those people, so the very first year Brad was invited from Australia, and it was quite a select few people from individual countries. And the first one I think was in Bordeaux, and they hired out the track, and you erected a swimming pool in the middle of the track with 9 lanes. So it wasn't the best pool in the world because there was no flow off, so it was just like this big wave pool going back and forward, and then on the cycling velodrome for the bike ride. So 400 meter swim, 10k bike ride, and a 3k run. Super fast, super fun, and you got to watch some pretty average track skills from cyclists, from triathletes who'd never raced on the track before. So Brad, the first year, came out there, had a great swim, had a good bike, but had a sensational transition. And Croc was famous because he didn't wear any running shoes the first year he won it, so he just took off from transition while everyone was putting their shoes on. He just went. So he ran the 3k barefoot, and he won the very first year. And then the second year they invited me to go, which was in Bercy in Paris, and 45-degree bank track, which is quite hard. And it was awesome watching all the triathletes try to get their head around the track. And as soon as you drop under 30 kilometres an hour, they would slide down the track and just crash. So the back wheel would go, and I'm laughing because I grew up racing tracks, so it was unreal for me. I didn't have the best swim in the final. Jerome Sansons were there, and they were super fish, right? So Jerome had a lap and a half on me getting out of the water, and so a very, very short race to be a lap and a half behind. And fortunately, where I did get on the bike with a couple of other people, I managed to catch the main group, which only put me one lap behind him. And I got off the bike with a guy called Simon Lessing, who was one of the best triathletes in the world ever. And he was in France. He spoke French. He was very, very popular at the time. And his manager was running around saying that Simon had won the race because we were all together on the bike, and had a fast transition like Brad, but I wore shoes, and managed to get a 10-second gap at the start, and it never shut down. So it was really fun, but I think it was really cool because Antonio Samaranch was in the stands watching. So he'd heard about this sport called triathlon. They were looking at whether they were going to place the sport within the Olympics, and he was invited down to watch this event and the Lausanne World Championships, where Craig Walton showed the world how to corner and crashed right in front of him, and got a nice little watch from the IOC for crashing. And so that was some of the races that really helped form us to get us into the Olympic Games. We had some really heavy hitters coming down to watch this thing called triathlon and seeing what it was all about. And I think being able to sit in the grandstand and watch this triathlon unfold out in front of their eyes, which was quite short and exciting and fast and fun, I think it really sort of put us in a good stead there to get in the Olympic Games. I think around '96 or '97, I think was the first F1 series. It was around that time, and I didn't come to an agreement with the race directors around starting the race, so I missed the first series, but got to watch this whole new thing unfold on TV, and probably didn't realise at the time just exactly how big that series was going to be. And second year, about halfway through, I got a start, and my career in the F1 started off about halfway through the second term, and had some okay races, but Brad was once again the king of the series, so he was just back to back great races. I was probably more come and win one event, and it was really set up the Brad, Greg and Miles type show where the three of us were going head to head in all these races every weekend on TV in Australia. So it is interesting. I still bump into people today who go, "Oh, I used to watch you racing on the weekends around the F1 series." So it had quite an impact for us. I think it sort of made us a little bit more of a household name, and just great racing, super hard. People would get lapped in the series. Great international athletes would come out and get lapped. Guys like Spencer Smith, who was a sensational athlete. As soon as there was a corner on the bike, he was in big trouble. And like just watching some of these guys who were top athletes get pulled apart in this series was just an amazing thing, and the fastest, hardest racing I've ever done in my life. I liken it to being shot out of a cannon. It was go from the minute the gun went, and brilliant racing, great fun, very crowd-friendly courses, which a lot of spectator engagement as well, which was really, really fun. And then, people got to watch it on the weekends on TV. It's the best thing that probably happened to triathlon within Australia.